The way things are going in this my beloved country is literally freaking me out. And it's most evident in the way that we treat each other. This culture of every man for himself is clearly not serving us. And yet it is as if we don't know better. How much more blood must be shed before we truly start to appreciate this gift of life? The land issue has been the most contentious since our struggle for independence. Our struggle for freedom against oppression began, and somehow something's gotten lost in translation because this here appears to be a dream deferred. I was just shocked or dead after seeing the lands minister, son of the founding father, Utoni Nuyoma's utterances on the South African news channel ENCA this week. Check this out.
How do you respond to criticism that former liberation movements sold out?
No, definitely not. As I said,
that you overcompromised?
No.
That
never.
You shouldn't have accepted willing buyer, willing seller?
No, there was no other alternative. That was the compromise. And as freedom fighters, we were also tired of staying in the bush.
You heard that too, right?
We were also tired of staying in the bush.
Isn't it just dumbfounding how African politicians who claim to serve the people manage to secure such wealth? I mean, damn! Just look at this declaration of the Minister of Lands' wealth. Politicians? Wow. The Lands Minister has since retracted his statement, claiming that he was quoted out of context. But I know what I heard.
It is a wrong, it's a misconception. Some of the facilities, those who were run by our white compatriots, are quite sophisticated. You cannot just bring a person from an informal settlement, put him there, and hope that he will succeed to farm.
You heard that too, right?
You cannot just bring a person from an informal settlement, put him there, and hope that he will succeed to farm.
My people, we are yet to experience what it means to have an economy that is unable to sustain the aspirations of a people. But dark days are upon us, and it is evident in the social ills our society endures. The landless movement's Bernardo Swartboy also reacted to the founding father's son, now Land Minister Utoni Nuyoma's statements.
I want to thank him for being so honest. So honest. His view on poor people cannot be resettled. He's honest about it. Yeah. Because Utoni has resettled very rich people. Yes. He's honest. And that is why going to the land conference with Utoni at the helm of things, it's chaos. It's a dead end. It's a catastrophe. The view that Utoni expressed, I was in cabinet committees, media, I'm telling you. The way Utoni spoke is really the way ministers speak. You see, you can say to a natural resource ministerial guy, all of them would say, you see, but if you give these fishing quotas to poor people, you're creating problem for a poor man. And another one will give an example when they gave apparently this and that community and it became a problem. So there is a conversation that is very normal between cabinet ministers and deputies about certain things should never be given to certain categories. It's a very unconstitutional statement because Utoni directly discriminates on the basis of social and economic status. Yes. It's very unconstitutional.
Up next, Cecilia shares her views on the land issue.
You know, some of the people, they don't even go to their farm, and then there's other people taking care of their farm. People who deserve to get a farm. To me, it's a very painful because you are the owner of the farm, but you don't stay at your farm, you don't work at your farm. There's somebody else who have to have a farm who doesn't have money to buy a farm. These things must stop. Everybody must just have to get his own land or his own little farm because all of us, we need it.
Let's see what's on illustrator Dudley Vile's mind this week. Social activist and SWAPO turned RDP member Monica Nambelela was recently evicted from her apartment, and after waiting for 4 years for a government flat, decided that she would occupy one until government decides to address her situation. Check this out.
We got a locksmith to break, and he broke. We put our things there, and then we realized that there is no electricity. I went to the municipality to find out why the electricity was cut off, and it was cut off by the instruction of the Ministry of Works, because the lady who stayed here, she passed on early in the year, and they were trying to evict her children. So the easiest way to evict was to put this flat, it's on the system of the municipality. It says there are illegal tenants in it. No consideration for minors was taken into account, that children of someone who worked for government for years were just, forced out. That also pains me. I've been surviving very difficult, because without electricity, it's also affecting how the children are studying. By 6 o'clock, it's dark. The kids cannot study. This is the gel that I'm using to cook. And it's basically, this one goes about, it's $70. You can see that it's empty. You put it in like this, and then you take a lighter. This one lasts for 2 days to 3 days. This one lasts 4 days. So it's $100 spent on gel. And then in the night, it's very cold. You can't drink coffee. You can't take a warm bath. Children are bathing in very, very cold water, and they are out in the morning when the sun is not yet out. The coldest temperatures, it's between 4 and 5. And if you don't have firewood and you can't boil water, it affects you. It affects you.
With women heading the majority of Namibian households, Monica believes that not enough is being done to protect women and their children in this country, despite our president having recently received an award recognizing his efforts in creating a supposed zebra system of gender balance in Namibia. I just see the same aunties being regurgitated in various positions. The bottom line is, we have a lot of work to do.
Every woman should own the housing issue, because at the end of the day, we are the ones managing households. We are the ones who are less likely to throw $1 into a gambling machine, because you always count the dollar that my children need bread. We are the best administrators in difficult conditions. And I think it is, I'm not just talking about my situation alone. Look at police officers. You literally, when you go to the informal settlement, you see the military guys walking to their kabashus. You see police officers, because police officers are one of the most underpaid. So the condition they live in, I do not know how our politicians sleep at night, knowing that the VIP protection guys, the ones that are protecting them, are living without dignity. The land issue was created by mismanagement and by greed, to such an extent where a minister goes public and says you cannot give land to the poor, but it's the poor people that are voting them into power. The votes are coming from from the informal settlements. And then once they get voted into positions with the Katutura votes, they move to Kleine Kuppe.
Namibian women are heroic and rather unappreciated to my mind. The queens that keep this nation's soul might just be our only redeeming quality. This week, the nation celebrated an everyday hero, Tulonga Neputa, whose maternalistic instincts kicked in when she came upon an accident and did what she could to relieve the pain and suffering of baby Dexy. Check this out.
Let me go get the baby.
Maybe the car will bend. Tulonga, go, don't go there.
Hurry. Please hurry, the car is going to go.
Tulonga, oh, Tulonga, where is she running to?
She's going
The
to
baby.
Naomi, why are you taking a video?
I need to. Oh, Tulonga took the baby. Oh my goodness. No, the car can bend. Tulonga. It's the baby. I took man. Oh my.
Tulonga's heroism inspired me too much. I had to meet her.
We were going to the state-owned enterprises sports games, and this time they were hosted in Walvis Bay. So we were driving from Windhoek towards Okahanja just before Osona Base, and we just encountered an accident. It was a very, very ugly accident. The two cars, I can't recall or say that it was a head-on collision. I don't exactly know what happened, but at that point when we arrived at the scene, it was dusty. There was smoke coming out of the car, and as we were driving just past the bakkie, I saw a baby lying on the ground, and the baby was crying really bad. And so the bus driver stopped and he said, oh, somebody must go get the baby. And I said, I'm going to get the baby. My colleagues were very, very scared. They felt that there was smoke coming out. Maybe that car can just, burst into flames. And I just decided I'm gonna go get the baby. So that motherly instinct of the baby crying on the ground and that vulnerability of the child, that I guess it's just that motherly instinct that really kicked in. And I just ran and went to fetch the baby. He hugged me, he cried. I didn't know whether at that point what has exactly happened. He really cried, the baby was crying. And I got him into a combi. He was bleeding from the mouth. He was also bleeding from the nose. So I took something from his bag that I picked up as well, and I just cleaned up the bleed from his mouth. And I also undressed him and to see if there's any cut. Not that I could do anything at that point. I'm not a medical expert or a paramedic, but it's just that thing that you want the baby to be well, and you want to make sure, okay, now I know it's the cut on the leg, or it's that type of thing. We stayed for almost an hour waiting for the paramedics and the ambulance and the police to come, and immediately once they arrived, I've handed over the baby to the paramedics and we proceeded with our way to Walvis Bay. I have not met the mother, but we did communicate with a family member. They are currently obviously mourning their father or their grandfather, and I respect that, so it's okay for now. They said they will perhaps call me after 2 weeks or so, which is okay. Really, I need to respect it. To respect that. For me, as long as the baby is fine, the baby is doing well, that's all that matters. When we left the scene, we stopped in Okahanja, and I was nauseous. I was feeling all sorts of emotions were running at the time. I think at that time the shock just registered. I was now absorbing the shock, because even when we went to sleep, I couldn't sleep that night. But when we were driving past Usakos towards Swakop, that's when messages started coming in. Well done, Tulonga, well done this. And I said, what has happened? So I asked Naomi that I have just taken the video. I said, Naomi, did you post the video? She says, no, I just posted it on our family group. And I guess it's maybe from the family group that somebody posted it on social media, like Facebook. And so the messages started coming in, the calls started coming in, and I said, wow, okay. But I didn't know it went internationally. That was, for me, that was really something else. I got messages coming in through Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and people congratulating me as far as Dubai, as far as United Kingdom, as far as countries that I don't even know of their names. A country like Mona, a country like, is it Mona or Oman? I don't know the names. Argentina. So I said, wow, you know, South Carolina, New York, all those people. I said, did this thing went that far? The experience has been overwhelming. I'm a private person, and the messages, the calls, the media wanting to interview me and all that, it has been overwhelming. It has been very, very much overwhelming. We have the best road in Africa, for that matter. So it's not necessarily to say it's the quality of the road. I think it's more of the attitude of our people that are making use of the road. We need to be very careful when we drive. We need to be cognizant of the next person, because when an accident happens, it kills 1 or 2 people. Like in this case, it were 5 people that died on the spot, body parts scattered all over. That is somebody's father, that is somebody's wife, that's somebody's sister. That is you have taken somebody's life, you know. It's really not good. We really, really need to change our attitude towards the speed that we drive. You cannot be driving a car at 230 kilometers per hour. You don't do that. And overtaking, come on, it's ridiculous. We need to be very careful. We need to be mindful of other people. We need to have empathy towards one another.
Spanish dancer Aida Colmanero collaborated with Namibian dancer Trixie Munyama and poet/vocalist Nunu Namises and produced an eclectic expression of femininity with she poems. Check this out.
The cultural activities the Spanish Embassy has been developing during the last few years have been based on our wish to not only show the Spanish culture in Namibia, but also to make a fusion of cultures, to bring both Spanish and Namibian cultures together, and to get our artists to perform with Namibian artists. We are very glad to have Aida Colmanero. The message she brings is not only based on art and culture, it's also based on women empowerment and on breaking stereotypes about women.
So this project is inspired in poems, and we try to use these poems as an inspiration for the creative process, and we use them and we transform them in dance. So in dance pieces, in short films, and also in photo exhibitions. She poems is about about the woman of the world. It's true that I'm focused now in African women, but represent the woman of the world. Is a project to give the visibility to the creators of Africa, the female creators, and to give them visibility as a creators, to put them on the role as a choreographers that we are not used to seeing, because all the dance world and even performing arts world are dominated by men in the world, and here too, in this continent too. So I wanted to really give them the visibility. And
I'm hoping that it makes me into a better dancer. It makes me into a better performer in the sense that I feel most of the times you repeat the same work. You are used to one way of working and one style of looking at of creating and one way of looking at how you create as a dancer or as a creator. And so having somebody else coming in as another artist, it pushes you to another level of performing that you haven't been pushed, and especially in Namibia, where we are starving for different art forms, for different collaborations and projects. So projects like this are generally just welcomed, because then you are able to be more than what you are used to being, especially from the College of the Arts side, or just general as an artist.
Dance is life. Life is dance. We move. If you don't move, you die. No? The breathing is movement. You know? So for me, dance is just life.
I will be doing or performing my poetry, original pieces of poetry, but as the project does go along, and we are in the developing stages, we're going to be adding elements that are basically stemming from or that have been inspired by what we are doing during our rehearsal. So a lot of writing will also come from what's actually happening within the piece.
Our bodies are ready every month to create life, so that makes us different, and I learned how to create more with this instinct part of us that we have, how rich we are, how easy we connect, also how easy we can express ourselves more if we create an intimate space for us, and how easy is everything goes with the instinct.
Stay woke with It's a Wrap by subscribing to my YouTube page, It's a Wrap with Erica Gebhardt, and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching.